Okay. Get my swag on. What's up, music fans of the internet? I'm Kevin.
I'm Derek.
And together we are last week's album, The Only Reviews, with two different views. And in this episode, we're exploring the question, is Beyoncé's Lemonade a personal affair or a universal affirmation? And let's get into it. Cheers, Derek, and everyone at home.
Cheers, Kevin.
In case you somehow don't know who Beyoncé is, she is an international pop and R&B star, originally from Houston. Shout out to H-Town. Lemonade is her sixth solo record, released as a surprise album. It was actually released as a visual album. It is about, quote, every woman's journey of self-knowledge and healing. Let's talk about what it sounds like. Derek, what do you think?
Kevin, I think Lemonade sounds like Beyoncé delivers a better suck my balls than a lot of men.
Wow. I like the lyrical quotation there. I think it sounds like the queen of R&B, mixes hip-hop, rock, even country, and a little hot sauce to spice up a conceptual concoction of redemption.
Touché, sir.
Let's talk about some highlights from the album. Derek, what did you think worked well?
Kevin, tracks that really jumped out to me were Hold Up and Don't Hurt Yourself. Hold Up features this grooving reggae guitar and really groovy beats, and it's really just this light, bouncy tune. In the video, I thought it was fantastic because this is one where she's walking down the street, bashing cars and other things with a baseball bat.
The bashing cars kind of broke my heart a little bit, personally. I hate to see that happen to classic automobiles.
Vocally, I really like the way Beyoncé bounced between very acrobatic vocals to dropping it like it's hot rap.
Just scatting towards the end of the track kind of reminded me of Regina Spektor.
Almost like classic vocal warm-ups to a nonchalant what's up.
Derek, I'm burning to know which is worse, being jealous or crazy or being walked all over lately.
Lyrically, I was kind of intrigued by that whole line. This is one example where she does kind of portray the universal woman. You know, there's some darker lyrical tones juxtaposed against this light poppy sound, which was just fantastic. I thought it worked great. The next one that really stood out to me happened to be the subsequent track, Don't Hurt Yourself. This one featured Jack White, harder electric guitars, blasting drums, oozy bass. The vocals here were kind of affected and emphasized anger.
It's an angry, dark track that shows a really raw side of Beyoncé that we're not used to seeing. A lot of times it's this more happy-go-lucky, fun, pop, dance, bangers she's coming out with, and this one has some real raw emotion that I think makes it really, really interesting, especially coming from her.
Especially jumping from that light poppy sound from Hold Up to Don't Hurt Yourself. I thought it was seamless. That really engaged me to be carried away for the rest of the album.
Well, Derek, the highlights that stood out to me were Sandcastles and Freedom. Sandcastles is really just a simple piano and voice ballad, and I thought it was great because you can hear the pain in her really raw, imperfect vocals. She's almost hoarse, like she's been up crying or yelling all night. It's got really smart lyrics. The play on promise is super clever. I just love that mix of heart and head lyrically and sonically. And the best part about it, I think she proves she can still make us hang on her every note without the need for a catchy hook or a massive production behind her.
I hadn't really thought of it in that perspective as far as taking away the crutch, if you will, of a hook or something to put more focus or the spotlight on the vocals. And again, here, you know, she dominated that. So yeah, it's an interesting take.
The next one for me, Freedom, which features Kendrick Lamar. It's got wailing funk organ, sort of drum corps, percussion, some swampy bass. I thought it was a great mix of literally rhythm and blues, the way they turn struggle into a powerful work of art, turning lemons into lemonade, if you will. An amazing verse contributed by Kendrick Lamar. And, you know, a song of redemption and power and ultimately civil rights that really stood out towards the back end of the album for me.
The way it built intensity was fantastic. I was really excited when I heard this one on the album as well. It made such an impression to me when I was watching it initially.
And I also thought it brought the story to a more universal level than just the personal struggle that she talks about more towards the front end of the album.
Is this the one where she's like, I'm going to keep running?
Yeah, a winner don't quit on himself.
Workout song of summer 2016.
That's true. I like that. I hadn't thought about that.
I don't know if we give away awards like that, but we're giving it away now.
Those are some good highlights. Any lowlights for you, Derek?
You know, the only lowlight I was going to pick was Sandcastles, but I mean, your take on it really put that into a different perspective for me. And so it's like all the things I didn't like about it are what make it great, obviously. So not really much of a lowlight anymore.
I've got a couple of thoughts, and they're kind of, I think, more for the sake of argument than personal bones of mine to pick with the album. I think you could argue that Forward was kind of a cool experiment, but felt a little half-baked.
And that one didn't even really come to my onto my radar for the same reason.
Yeah, it was just a little too forgettable. The other lowlight you could argue is that sometimes it's a little too personal, especially the front half of this is very much about Beyoncé and Jay-Z and marital struggles and maybe even some infidelity. And, you know, towards the second half, it becomes much bigger and more about cultural struggles and racial struggles.
Counter argument to that might be kind of the arc of just maturity. You know, growing up from my 20s, still very me-centric, but then you're moving into your 30s, a much better grasp of the bigger world around oneself.
I hadn't thought of that. Maybe that was the intent.
This one really surprised me from an artistic standpoint. Like, damn, Beyoncé.
All right, well, let's talk about that and give it an overall rating. Is Beyoncé's Lemonade a personal affair or a universal affirmation? What do you think, Derek?
Kevin, I think it's a little bit of both, but that's what makes it so amazingly sweet and tart. I was really impressed with a lot of the artistic nuances throughout this album, not only musically, but lyrically. And you could even extend that to the video itself, tackling a lot of issues. In those instances where it was from a more universal perspective, I thought she did a great job making it relatable and inclusive. Vocally, fantastic. One thing I really liked was just the different sounds achieved here. I found myself much more engaged in this album than I thought I would have been. So that being said, I'm giving this one a 4 out of 5. I really dug this. Everyone go check out some Lemonade.
I think we'll agree for the most part. Is this a personal affair or a universal affirmation? I agree it's both, Derek. Ultimately, it's about love, obviously, and it didn't hit me until repeated listens, but about the healing power of not just love, but loving yourself and inner strength and finding your voice, which Beyoncé does here, I think, musically and artistically. You know, she reveals a lot of new sides of herself as an artist. This isn't a happy-go-lucky, dancing in the club without a care Beyoncé. This is definitely her most grown-up, artistic, and meaningful work to date. She's been dabbling in gender and race issues for a little while, but this feels like the statement she's been trying to make. And, you know, a lot of times they say the best artists reinvent themselves. And I think it's worth saying that this album is a reinvention of Beyoncé. So with that, I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed this album. That makes a 9 out of 10. Go listen to it right now. Go watch the visual album as well. It will blow you away in a whole different way. And yeah, let us know what you think about the album. Don't forget to subscribe to us here on YouTube or on the podcast. As always, I'm Kevin.
I'm Derek.
We'll see you next time.